Shabbos now, it's the best achon you could have for Shavuos is learning this Maimer. By the way, you just know that how much are you supposed to sleep?
8 hours.
Rambam says you do Rambam, so it says 8 hours is like enough to sleep 8 hours. Between 6 and 8, it says the bench between 6 and 8 hours. But Thursday night and Motzei Shabbos are very special nights. And you're supposed to use that every second for learning Torah. There's a meaning by Mekubal State every Leil Shishi, you know that already. By Literature Yeshivas in the world B'chal Leil Shishi, it's a very, very special night. And also Motzei Shabbos. And if you sleep less than 6 hours, I promise you're not going to get damage from that. It's a special bracha you have for Motzei Shabbos and how do you really know that it's so special? You see in Clippers how Clippers made a big thing out of it Thursday night and Motzei Shabbos. They make people drunk and going with Chwan al all the tightest. That shows you how important this night is. You see how much the Clippers tried stealing this night. Well, it's a special night and you're able to get much more on this night. So we're trying to do something impossible. We're trying to stick something very big into something very small, and it just doesn't fit. It's like impossible. That's big and small. Here it's infinite. It's like something that doesn't exist in that world, and we're trying, and we're going to manage to squeeze it all the way inside. That's the method that we're doing. But not that you're going to cut pieces off and then it's going to fit. That's the easy way out. The easiest way out, what a regular person does today, okay, whatever, forget about this guy. Doesn't get it. But I guess the teacher here loves the student so much, and he has to give it over to him, and it's impossible. It's tacky impossible, but it's possible. It's possible to do things that are impossible. The way that's also a part of the Maimer. There's nothing impossible. This guy is going crazy, and he's going to put every single detail into that student. But the student's not going to know. Now, he's not going to realize it even now. Teacher's going to be telling him a story, a mashal. He's going to be getting different stuff. But everything is there, and the raya is that one day he's going to see it in those words. He's very marich in this in the mashal because it's very nageya for the nimshal, right? Every detail in the mashal is very important for the nimshal. So he starts putting it in less words. He gives also a mashal. We were holding va'koyach hazeh ba'mashpia letzamtzem ulahalim etzem tzchukana. Where does he get this from? Where do you have this power to put it down and to contract and to make it less and to make it mishon? Where does it come from? This is called gvura. It's called limitation. Where does this limitation, the power of limitation, come from? So the Rebbe says, "U'mikoyach ha'gbola shish b'koyach ha'maskel shay." It comes from the same brain. In your brain, you have the power to reveal and you have the power to conceal. Canal. So that's the point of the whole thing, that it comes from the same power, so that's why it's impossible that it's a real Helen of Esther. Okay, now he starts the 3 steps. Number one, Vihine. Called Simtsum Vehelem Anal, this concealment and this Timtsumim that you see in the words, in the way he's transferring the information, Hurak Legabe Yamekabel. It's only the student that gets the Timtsum and the Helen of Esther. V'lo Legabe Yamashpia. The teacher, for him, he sees the light in every single detail that it's giving. He sees everything there. It's not symptom for him. Sharigaba mashpia, meir begilui. That's the main part. That him it's revealed, because also the student gets everything, but concealed. But him it's revealed. Kol oimek sichle v'chochmasoi, all the depthness of the intellect and his wisdom. Be'asichle mitzomtzom, k'moi shahaya koidim shenistamtzim. Got it? Not that he knows the information while he's speaking. He sees it also in the words that he's using. He sees in those words all the information that he's... Did you ever experience such a thing?
Teaching wise?
I guess speaking to your little brother doesn't understand what it means death. Doesn't mean no, you know. Do you know how you explain death to a kid, by the way? It just happened now. Okay, now it was a 2-week-old baby passed away. You know, there was a kid with the heart. But you have a year-old kid. How do you describe to a few-month-old kid? You know, mommy left. How do you tell them mommy left? With insects.
What?
With the bug. You show the bug, it's moving, whatever it is, now it's finished. That's what happens, it's finished. Which means you're describing that the soul left the body. I don't know what you're saying. But mommy's not going to answer anymore. Mommy left now. Mommy's sleeping for... You're going to be saying, using words. The words are true. The kid doesn't know what you're saying. But you see in your words that that's exactly what it actually means. But the kid doesn't really understand it. Although you're telling it to him, and those words are true, but for him, he doesn't get the meaning now from those words. But you're using words that it's actually you're not hacking him a tiny. You're telling him that he closed his eyes and it won't open up now for a while now, and you can't it's all true. But the kid doesn't, But he sees it in the words. And what's the main word? The gam misholim. Even when you're giving something totally different, the real concealment, he sees all the depths of the seichel. Not only the words that you're using, the tzimtzum, when you're just diluting the words, in those words it's easier, because it's not really concealment, it's just tzimtzum. What does that mean? He's been about for a long time. You know what it means, raw logic? Every logic that you learn, it's always in a story. But then you have the actual logic by itself, before it was put into a whole episode. By the way, when people learn Gemara, it's the biggest mistake when people learn Gemara. The hardest thing people learn Gemara, they mixed up with it, like they don't understand this word. Example, you're eating now in a sukkah, you make leisha b'sukkah, in a sukkah, you leave, you come back an hour afterwards. Do you see leisha b'sukkah or not? An hour afterwards, you make a bracha on leisha b'sukkah or not? It depends if you had a mind, you don't have a mind. It's really an argument in Gemara.
You get 4 pies in
4 pies for him and also for the rest of the Chevra also.
If he's just pure, he's still 4 pies.
Where is it?
You're gonna find it, don't worry, you're gonna find it. You don't have to have GPS, we'll give you a GPS. So, you got the argument? If you think about if you left the sukkah, you come back, is it a hefsek or not? Right? I don't think the Gemara actually does it. The Gemara asked the question. You already had this thing before. You already argued this argument. If someone's wearing tefillin, Gabi, and you go to the bathroom, you make a bracha again and you put it back on or not?
Yeah.
It's the same exact argument. If you go to the bathroom, yeah. It's a whole thing. Number one, number two depends on the place. It's like a whole thing in halacha. But the Gemara says that's the same exact argument regarding leaving the sukkah. So a little kid doesn't understand. Here it's speaking about a sukkah. Here it's speaking about tefillin. What's the connection? But no one cares about the sukkah. No one cares about the tefillin. It's a logic. You're doing something and you stopped it. Is it hefsek? Does it continue or not? So in the Gemara, it's the same exact. And if you ask the question, why are you saying the same thing twice? And for someone else, we do it twice. It's two different stories. There's one's sukkah, one's that. But you have the actual logic before it goes into a story. So some people, they see only the logic. They don't even see the story. They see it's the whole shas. It's all the same. When Rav says something, whatever he says, it's all the same logic. It's all the same point. Right? The Shitasi, that was very strong in this way of learning Torah. So over here, the rabbi, he's giving a whole mashal. The teacher's giving a whole mashal. But the teacher, he sees the logic the way it is raw, the way it was before it was put into the story. He sees it also in the story also. For him, it's the same thing. This part helps the student also. The fact that by him there's no hell and behester, that means that it's not a real hell and behester. Because you're going to say, who cares about the teacher? We're the student. What's Adam? Ha'oretz agashmi u'moshul lebechinas malchus shelamaylo. Right? Everyone knows the earth outside is a moshul for malchus. Which malchus is it? Malchus malchus ko Elohim. Goes usually malchus datzilis. That's everything comes from malchus datzilis. Hainu aviyusay, the thickness, v'kadrusay, v'koyvdoy, u'mashem etzmiach tzmachim. It's thick and it's round and it's heavy and everything grows out of the earth. Ha'izeh moshul lebechinas malchus datzilis. Shemahaven b'ram debiyah ma'ayin liyesh k'mosh kos b'mokem acher. Right? That's example also from Ayin. It comes from Ayin to Yesh. So the teacher, the Arizal is giving a story about the earth. Everything comes out of the earth. By the way, you know what's funny about this? That the Arizal gets a click also.
Do you want the pizza?
Yeah, bring it. Thank you very much.
You say I'm splitting half.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm not eating.
Okay, so there's 6 pounds.
This is a mighty thing. You want to go wash fast and come back? Do you know that the Arizal was more in Atzilus than this world, right? The Arizal was more in that world. The Arizal now came to Tzfat, he's speaking to the students, and they don't get it, because so he starts thinking about the earth outside, the Gashmi, everything like that. And right away, I'm using my words now. The Arizal is walking down the street, looks at the earth, he right away gets a whole new look at the earth. He used earth as an example for Malchus Dat, which is Malchus on a lower level. That's when the Arizal realizes that the earth, it clicks by him that the earth is really Malchus Dat. This is also Elikus. Until then, he was an Atzilis, he was all Ruchnis, whatever it is. But the teacher gains by speaking to the student also. But the fact that he had to bring it down to such a low level, wow! So that's really Elikus also. It goes regarding any teacher, by the way. Whenever a Bocher asks a question, and what's the answer to the question? The teacher has to find the words to use it. The teacher gets the Gemara much better afterwards. That's the word.
How is it possible for someone to live kind of in an Atzilos way if Atzilos doesn't include physical stuff? So if you're looking at everything like an Atzilos, so you're kind of living half an Atzilos.
Very good. So that's what the Arizal was brought down to this world, and when he put it down into physical things, that's when he saw the Kus also in the physical world. So that was the point. That's why David made it that way. You can speak about it soon. You have it in the brackets. You have the brackets? He knew before the brackets, the line. He knew Roya beha aretz agashmi kol partenim shel Malchus Datilos. V'roya al yidei zeh. What does al yidei zeh mean? He sees through this. Through what? Through explaining it to the student. I think that's what it is. Through explaining it to the student, he had to use that mashal because the kid didn't get it. So when he explains it to him, then he sees the earth is not davar nifrat klal, is davar b'fnei atzmoi. Yishar shom mekayro. Kim he madrega hol yoyna sheba b'koycha yintzuf b'agshome. That's what the reason realizes that earth comes from Malchus Datilis. That is Malchus Datilis, the way it revolved and came down to a lower level. שבאמס, המושל חיים שלהם דבר אחד, אלא שזה רוחי וזה גשמי. It's really the same thing. That's why, that's the whole point. Since it's the same thing, so it can't be it's concealing. לזויס הריורויה כל פרוטeinim שלו במושל. והיינו ראייה אליקוס במוחש. What does that mean? That's like you ever heard of Gilui Elikus? What does Gilui Elikus mean?
Revelation of God.
What does that mean? What does it mean for you? What does it mean?
When you can see.
When you see something.
Huh?
When you see it.
So by Chassidim, we have a tradition that this means you see your car breaks down and goes nowhere, and all of a sudden you're waiting, and all of a sudden a guy comes and the guy wants to put on tefillin. You know, all of a sudden when you see Elikus in this world, you miss the bus, all of a sudden you see someone, all of a sudden when you see godliness in this physical world. So the Arizal now, like he explained the earth, and he sees it. He looks at the earth. He sees Malchus Datilos in the earth. Through bringing down the moshel, then he sees Elikus. Memuchash means vividly. You see it mamash begashmius. In the brackets, he says this point. That's what the limitation. So what did the moshel do? What did the limitation do? It brought the realization, it revealed the Elikus also to the earth. It just pulls down the revelation to a lower level. That's what the concealment does. It's not kind of concealment. It's a deeper revelation. It brought it down. That's when the teacher gets it mamish vividly. So the end of the number one step. Nimtzo. What's God? What does it mean, nimtzo? It's like the outcome from the first step. Comes out, nimtzo, alma. Gemara always says alma. You know alma? You heard of alma in the Gemara? Comes out. Sheligabe hamashpia ein kan shum helen vehester klal. There's no concealment at all. Ki im ligabe hamakabel hu helen vehester. Only regarding the student is the helen vehester. So you see the way it's zero concealment for the teacher? For the teacher, there's no concealment at all. He knows about Malchus. The mashal wasn't an alien thing that mixed him up. No, he brought it down, and it's actually a stronger realization and revelation for him.
Because by him, there's no
No Helen Vester. By the student, it is a Helen Vester.
Ultimately, it's not.
I know, but it's going to be. But it's the same thing.
Yeah,
I know, but we're going to go slowly. Yeah. So he right away says in even step number one, the who. The student also wasn't blocked. The student did get something out of it. But the depthness from it was concealed from him. Yeah, the guy passed away. You just say the words, but the meaning of the truth is regarding passing away. You don't understand either what it means to pass away. We started understanding it better because we know what it means that the nefesh leaves the body. But the kid doesn't understand. But by the teacher, you know, this example of the bug dying. So the kid is now looking at the bug dying. Oh, so mommy's like the bug, and now can't do that, right? By the teacher, by the one that's explaining it, it's the same thing. It's not as if it's like something different, but the kid gets it through the bug. Gets to the point a little bit, but the actual pneumius, he doesn't get it. Got it? Chaver, step number 2. Ube'emes. What's be'emes? Until now, the kid got something where it was most of it the kid doesn't understand. It's Helem Esther. The Rebbe says, what do you mean? Ube'emes gam legabe hamekabel in the Helem Amiti. There was no real concealment that was happening over here. Number 1, Shari Mikol Mokoim al yidei zeh. What does it mean al yidei zeh? Only through the example, through the concealments, you got something. And if it wasn't the example, you wouldn't get anything. So the concealment over here, it really revealed to you something. At least you understood something. Right? You wouldn't get anything. The teacher would teach everything to, you know, the guy died. You tell him the whole seichel, what does that mean? You get totally mixed up. Like they had tzimtzum ve'ahester, only through the squeezing and tzimtzum and the hester, meir lo yoir ha'seichel, you're able to get something. So imkain in the hester amiti, it's not a real concealment.
Is it not repeating itself?
So it's a very good question. The Maimer looks like he's like, it's funny. I was just revealed. It's a lot of repetition. Every word it's knocking into stronger, but it's a very strong point. That the Helem Hester for the student, he's still 90% he doesn't get. Numin, 90% he doesn't get. He gets 10%, but it's just thanks to the concealment, so at least he got something out of it, right? By the way, the main thing is the nimshal, obviously, right?
Yeah.
It's to translate this into your life.
Can you ever get the proper initial?
Yeah, but it's like so true, even inside like psychology. Like, in order for someone to have any success, it's only when does your powers come out? Only when you're squeezed. You know, when you're squeezed, you're forced to now make a project now for Gimel Tammuz. You have no patience. But someone tells you have to do it. Whatever. All of a sudden you realize that you're able to, and these things come out of you. Only when it comes to these concealments. So that's the end of the second step. But the second step, there's still concealment, Shalom, right? You don't want any concealments. You want to have the third step. What's the third step? Uve'emes, chevre. Gam oimek, second last line. Gam oimek pnimis ha'seichel shel ha'mashpia. Even the deepest parts of the intellect, the way the teacher has it in his head, also meiru misgale la'mekabel. It also goes to the student and it gets revealed to the student. Al yidei hashpoah shemashpia lo. Not that years later no. That time he got everything. Over Razal, the next page. How many years? 40 years it takes you until you figure out what your teacher said. Did we speak about this thing of 40 years before?
Yeah.
Is it really 40 years or not?
No, it's so.
So it says 40 years, you can't take away. No, it means there is something special about 40 years. Everyone will say about the Fabregan, it's 40 years after the Maimon, now we can get the Maimon well. But obviously you could get it before, every day, today, you are on a higher level than yesterday. You're working on yourself, right? Like they say the famous line that it's impossible for a person to go over the river twice. You ever heard that? One?
No.
It's impossible for the same person to go over the same river twice. It's never the same person. It's never the same river. Right? What's a river?
Yeah, close.
It's always new. It's always a new river. Every second. The person also. It's always a new person. How much you're growing is depending on you and how much challenges you pass. So it's obviously a process of after 40 years. You get what do you get after 40 years? It means you get the depthness for what the teacher had intention. Who's his rabbi? Who's his rabbi? You know, you went to Rameir lately? Rameir Balanes in Tiberia. You know that almost every Mishnah is probably Rameir. Right? But almost every Mishnah, if there's no name, it goes according to Rameir. Do you go according to Rameir? No. Why not?
That's Rameir Balanes, the same person.
Like
No one knows what he's talking about, huh?
Rameir Balanes and Rameir the Mishnah, the same person.
Every Rameir Mishnah is Rameir Balanes. He's buried in Tveria, standing.
Staying?
Yeah. The Rizal says. Mashiach comes wherever he goes. Hard to move after. So he's
standing?
He's buried standing.
Why is everyone buried standing?
It's always a question if it's true or not. But Rizal says you just know that he tells Chaim Vital that he's actually the way people say he's standing, and that's not true, if I'm not mistaken. So Rameh, no one knew what he's talking about. What do you mean? He tells you. Yeah, but no one understood what was the depthness from what he was saying. You know, there's something called the real intention. You just can't get it. Rashi says, "Al etzem kavanasei chulu." To come out the Rabbi, and al etzem pnimis kavanasei. After 40 years, you can get the depthness of the teacher's kavanah. How come? What happened? Although the teacher told you a few words and whatever, give you a mashal, but every single detail was there in codes. Like what the kid understood, what he was revealed was only a little bit. There's extra vav, there's extra lami, there's extra yud, and an extra word over here, and in those words he sees all the depthness from what the guy had in mind. Well, there's always a mekabel. La'achsha mekabel ashpo b'siyashev etzloi. Hini kishemedaktek aharkach be'anyon v'dikduk tevis v'yagia atzmei b'zeh al pi ma shekibel b'izgalus hari yubolo oimek pnimis kavanos v'esem chamos k'mei shu etzel larav mamish kodim shetzin tzimnas v'lashpiyah. What did you just say? A lot of Bakum have this problem. If your teacher tells you something, the Gemara, Rashi tells you, whatever you learn in life, Newman, what's the first thing you need to do? Know what the person told you. Don't even try understanding it. Try, I don't get what you say. Don't understand. You can't understand right away. First of all, the Gemara says an answer. First of all, you have to know the words that the Gemara, the answer of the Gemara. A lot of times you don't get how it answers the question. It's okay.
What's the difference in know and understand?
So you're very good. You have to dissect the difference. Sometimes you could say the answer, but you don't understand how it answers the question. You know, when you're listening to a maim, a sikha, a maim, whatever, any intellect, your job, first of all, is just to receive the words. By the way, it's very funny because tomorrow night, that's what we're doing, by the way. In the Welt, by the Litva Shahid, you know what they do tomorrow night? What's the meaning by Ashkenazim? Huh? What do you do? No one, we do that. What is the Welt? What does the Litva Shahid do? Shavuos! Learn Gemara, Rashi Tosfos, and Pilpulim, and there's Shiurim, and it's a whole matziv. You don't know? There's a lot of classes in Montreal. So you have 10 is giving a class on, I think 1 year about tefillin, Rashi and Binutam. Al pi halacha, al pi kabbalah, al pi chassidus, al pi that, you know. So I had to turn also lucky, the guy's kratz so I had to go to mikveh. It's too late already. I finished. I didn't have to give it. But it's a whole matziv in Chabad. What do you do? But as far as what do we do? You just say the words. Tanakh, you understand a little bit understand what you're saying, but it's just saying words. It's so weird. You're not learning. You should learn. Learn Nigla. You should learn. But the point is not understanding the Torah; it's receiving the Torah as raw as possible, without mixing in your brain. Just to read. Afterwards, after you have it, you can understand it. It's very important because it's a mistake people make right away. I don't get what. First of all, make sure listen to Tosfos' questions, the answer. Everyone has all these questions. Okay, it's very good, but afterwards, first of all, receive it. Right? First of all, make sure you get everything that the Tosfos is saying. Rashi, make sure you don't miss any details. Make sure you have all the details. Once you have it, do what you want with it. Then you go to the room and you think about it over again and again. And then add also other word. What do you have to do? To work hard. So the student receives everything, then he starts understanding it, and he works on himself hard. Then he's going to get every single point that the teacher told him the way the teacher understands it. So obviously for the name show these details, right? In the Moshel, he sees also the whole deafness by the teacher. After he understands the Nimshal well, he's able to see the Moshel also. So it's really backwards. The teacher, the Arizal, he sees Malchus Datzilis, and the kid doesn't know what he's talking about, so he starts giving him an example of Earth. And the Arizal's like, wow, so that's so cool. The Earth also is like Malchus Datzilis. By the student, it's backwards. He looks at the earth. Oh, everything comes from the earth. And that's how Malchus Datzilis is. So first he understands the earth, then he understands Malchus Datzilis, and then he sees it also in earth, the way the teacher sees it.
So first we want from the
But there's a difference. First, you're right. First is the mashal. That's the first thing. That's step number 2.
So for our results, the nimshal first.
Yeah. But over here also, it's mashma. It's a good deal you're making. That it says here that you get the mashal, then you get the nimshal, and then you could see it, and then you could see in the mashal the nimshal. First, he understood the mashal. He got a little bit deal. Everything comes out of the earth. That's about. He gets the basic point from the mashal. Then he goes to the nimshal, and when you get the nimshal well, then you could see it also in the mashal, in every detail of the mashal. You see also the nimshal. Where are we? היינו שבאתי כמשל לפרטו אימא כנמשל, פנימיס הכוונה שבוי כמו שהוא לא עומקוי ותכליסוי. אז, look at the Gabi. Meir etzloi prote hanimshal al yidei hamashal. He understood it through the mashal, but then he sees it also. After him, he sees it also in the mashal. V'roye umargish oz es ha'inyin ha'eliki b'muchash mamish kanal. Right, that's the level when you see godliness in this physical world. Someone tells you something right away, elikus. You know, it's like every word that's someone, you see something, you see God in every detail in your life. The teacher and student go on the same level, but the way they got there was different. The teacher got it straight away from the nimshal first. He first understood in Atzilis, and then he brought it down to the earth, to the Gashmis. He gets it first to the mashal, then he gets to the. We're doing it fast. I want to get the point. That's what we're doing it. But afterwards, you obviously have to do it yourself for the next few years. You learn the Maimer well. Now we're going to go to the nimshal now. And we call the yuvul. That's the summary of the whole mashal. So all the stories that he was saying and the tzimtzumim and the concealments, this is step number 3. It comes out that there was no real concealment. He gets it 100%. He gets every single detail by the end of the story. Elo, שפעולת ההסתר הוא שיוכל המקבל לקבל. What does that mean? Could you even translate the words? He says, Ein ze hester, there's no concealment. Elo, the point of the concealment was, like, there's no concealment. It has no concealment.
So he's saying
Not really a concealment. For you, it looks like a concealment. It's not actually concealment. Really, just a revelation. But you don't know that yet because you can't see it yet. Just you who's the concealment.
So the truth is, there's no concealment
So
at
did
all.
our results see the concealment of everything that was revealed to him when he came down?
No. He saw that there was no concealment at all. And not that it's not a concealment. It's the strongest revelation.
That's not really concealment because that's what you're telling.
But he flips it total opposite. It's only in order for you to get the point, so you use the mashal. But the whole point of the mashal, but the concealment is just for you to get the point, just to get that realization. There was no concealment. There was no concealment. He was babbling, he wouldn't get anything. You saw the way he cut it into 2 pieces? If you would say everything to the student, how much percent could the kid understand? Let's say he understands 5%. If you tell him everything, he's not going to get anything. Even the 5% he's not going to get. Because you mixed him up. You just told him everything. Even what are you talking about? So what you do is, you reveal to him the 5%, but you put the other 95 in the 5% in a concealed weight. In a package, it's all stuck in over there. And he's going to take it. He's going to be able to take it out afterwards. So, if there was no mashal, he wouldn't even get the chitzonius. Forget about the pneumius. Through the Moshel, he gets the Chitzoynis and also the Pinimis later on. Right? You cut it into two pieces. You get the Chitzoynis, because now everyone in this room for sure could get to step number 2. Now you for sure could get something out of it.
So number 2 is getting 5%?
Step number 2 is that you're thinking about the cup here. There's an energy in the cup. You know what? It's hard to think about the cup because the cup is like so alien to you, and you don't know how the cup feels, right? But you know how you feel, and you know that you have some sort of energy that you can't see, and you feel you're breathing in and out. There's some sort of thing. There's some sort of energy that you have, right? And everyone around you have it also. People have it. Also, animals have it, and you're able to understand that there's some sort of life that this world has that you can't see. That's called God. We call it Mimali Kalman, which means you could. The student could get right away a little bit of what the teacher's trying to say. That's the easy part. But even that people don't do. Some klutz is just all day pizza, meat, and doesn't even think about it, doesn't even get anything. But over here, the step number 2 also, you have to be listening to the teacher and getting the 5%. After you get the 5%, then you're able to see 10%, 20%, 30%. Every day you see more and more until you see 100%. The second step is when you get something out of it. Oh, I'm always losing the place. Someone has to be pointing over here. V'nimtzo she'hester asher mashpia eni hester amiti klal. There was no concealment. Adrabe. What's adrabe? Kol inyona yulegales. The whole point was just to reveal to the student. That the teacher is giving over to the student to a much lower place. To the small student. That he's totally not on the level of the mashpia. He's giving over every detail the way he has it in his head. It's not a concealment at all. It's impossible there's any concealment that a person has in this world. Impossible. And if you think there's any concealment in your life, you have to know one thing. That concealment is just to pick you up to a higher level. I mean, it's impossible there's any concealment because it's all one. And not only, the Rebbe is saying, not only is it's not a concealment to get rid of the issue, no. Every issue that you have in your life, could be in your family, it could be things that you did in the past. You know, Bocher tells me that, I told you, I see a letter of the Rebbe, he deleted a few apps off his phone. Or stopped listening to music, or watching stuff. Some guys are watching stuff, they deleted a few pictures on the phone. Or someone was speaking to a girl for a few whatever, and all of a sudden stopped. And all of a sudden, the person changed in a very drastic way. And he started enjoying, he understands Chassidus much better, he connects much stronger, he starts living life. Thanks to what? Yeah, but in order to drop it, you have to have it. That's the pshat. That's the pshat. And even in the Aveira, even the concealments that like happened in the past, that concealment just brought you, when you deleted that app that you were very connected to, so you ended up breaking a very big, and all of a sudden you grew very much from that, but that was the reason why you fell down. Is that?
That's years ago.
Yeah. It's much deeper because he's speaking about the concealments that God gives you. This is concealments that a person does to himself. He fell down here, he started watching stuff, and he started getting addicted. And a person, but even those concealments, the truth is, there's a purpose in those concealments also. When a person falls into watching stuff, or listening to stuff, or speaking about stuff, or thinking about stuff, or doing stuff, or can't stop, there's a point also in that. When you get out of that, that's when you burst out, and it ends up being that it was all thanks to that. Can you imagine? But that's like a different level, because here it's not speaking about those concealments.
If someone never gets involved in that stuff, then he doesn't get the higher relation.
Everyone has their mission in life. Let's speak of the Rebbe, right? A holy guy, he didn't fall into these things, right? But he had different challenges, helping us in our challenges. Or in Eretz Yisrael, bigger stuff, whatever. Everyone has their job, right? The Alter Rebbe. Everyone has. By the way, Alter Rebbe also was kicked out of the house. Remember that story? Kicked out. He also had his concealment, and that's how he went to the next level. which means everyone has, from the Misnagdim, it was a famous word, the Alter Rebbe was learning Gemara, and he had a very big problem learning Gemara. What was his biggest problem learning Gemara? Remember that story?
Yeah, I understood everything.
Imagine such a problem that you understand everything right away. There was no challenge. So he was crying to the Rebbe, what should I do? Don't worry, you're going to have enough challenges in other areas. You know what I mean? And he was uplifted through the other challenges that he had. You know what I mean? But the point of every single challenge, every single concealment, there's no such thing as concealment. Just even knowing that already helps. Yeah? Maybe it's early it's like, not that it's not, it's only to bring it light. Now we're going to go to the Nimshol. You ready for this, Chevre? You've been the mile being in Shema Vai Velikim. Now we're going to go to the Nimshol. It's 5 lines from the bottom of the page. Shem Elikim u'b'chinas midas hatzimtzum v'hester shemetzamtzem u'master al oyer Shem Havaya because yuchal liyistam is havus ha'oilamis. So you see the way it's very, the mashal, the nimshal are not exactly the same. Because in the mashal you have a teacher, you have a student, and you're trying to transfer information to the student. In the real story it is, there's no information, it's not three things, it's not a teacher, student, information. It's, you want to make a limited student, you want to make the limited world. How could Havaya make the limited world? A limited world means that there's no feeling and no seeing godliness at all. A very limited world. So the method was used, Shem Elikim. Took the leverage Havaya and put the Tzum Menastim, just millions of millions, until this tablecloth came. And now, thank God, or thank Elikim. Because GOD is probably Havaya. But thank the Lord. This tablecloth over here, you cannot see any godliness at all. It went through billions of Tzimtzum and Helen Lesters. That was the point. The only way you could make this tablecloth is only through Shem Elikim. Only through the Moshe. If it was just Havaya, you would see godliness in everything in part of this world. You would see Elikus everywhere. So you have to have the Moshe, you have to have Shem Elikim to make the Tzimtzum in order to get to that tablecloth. The fact is, this tablecloth is full of Elikus.
Mashiach comes, Shem Elikim disappears.
It's not that it disappears. Havaya Elikim, it's all one. And Elikim is just revealing it to Allah. When Mashiach's going to come, you're going to see the Elikus in the tablecloth clear. You're going to see Elikus in every single thing. And you're supposed to see it already by now. You're working on it now. Even now you can see it. So the Eibishter wants to make this, by the way, this tablecloth is not so bad. Between me and you, it's not such a distraction, whatever. But think about now the dirty stuff and the taibis and the chazir, for example, not kosher stuff. All Hashem wanted to make a very low, disgusting temptation and dirty, perverted, all the garbage of the world. That's what's all come from Shem Elikim. It comes from Shem Elikim. In order for it to be a world, Havaya is revelation. And what kind of revelation? The way Hashem is. It's the deepest level of energy. The way the Eibishter is. Did you know about this shir? I told Rabbi Reicher. Huh? Wait a second.